How many games will the New York Jets win in 2024? What's going on, Jets fans? As we say, Jets Nation, is Mayo Jones here, back at it with another. We're back at it with the NFL record prediction, and we'll be doing the New York Jets for the 2024 NFL season for the record prediction, giving my game analysis, see which games I think the Jets will win and which games I think the Jets will lose. So before I give you my record prediction for the New York Jets for 2024 NFL season, put the thumbs up, like video, subscribe to my channel for more options, and don't forget to comment below to see how good you think the Jets are going to do. Do you think they're going to make the playoffs? Do you think they're going to miss out on the playoffs? Or do you think they're going to win division? So let me know in the comments down below what you think. So week one, we kick it off with the Monday Night Football game. We got the New York Jets playing on the road against San Francisco 49ers. Now, this is East Coast to West. So obviously this game right here is going to be fun to watch because Aaron Rodgers returned to his hometown team. But obviously, I'm going to go with the Niners here because the Niners are at home and there's the more complete team overall. And, they got the better coaching staff as well. But Saleh is from the Niners and he kind of knows them really well. So maybe he could definitely give the Niners offense issues, but I don't really know. Because basically, the Niners, have a really fast defense that can really get after you. And I think they're going to make life difficult on Aaron Rodgers because, they can stop the run really good. And I think they'll rush the quarterback. I think they're going to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to be a little rusty. He's coming off that torn Achilles. While the Niners, got a healthy quarterback, though, who hasn't got injured. So, yeah. And especially the Niners, got a great secondary that can really man up against Garrett Wilson and those guys. And especially, they have a really good offensive line. And I think they can do a good job controlling their pass rush. So, yeah. But I think it's going to be a little bit of a defensive game. Now, it could be the weather. It could be warm down there. You never know what the weather could be in San Fran. But I think the Niners defense is going to win them this game. But I think it's going to be close, though. So I'm going to say the Niners win that game. Week 2, we got the New York Jets going on the road against the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, I'm not going to say they're going to lose back-to-back road games. This is a game I think the Titans can win because, they did improve their roster. They upgraded their secondary, and, their defensive line is still good, and they have a lot of weapons on offense, and the offensive line's improved. But I think the Titans can definitely give, the Jets a tough time. Like, because I kind of remember, like, a couple years ago, like 3 years ago, I think the Jets, beat the Titans, one time, I think. I did believe it. That's when their defense, got pressure on Ryan Tannehill. But obviously, this game right here is going to be close. It could be fun to watch, but it could be another defensive game. But I'm going to give the Jets this win here because of the Jets, I feel like they need to win this game because if they don't win this game, they're in trouble. So I feel like I have a feeling the Jets are going to win because the Jets are just a more complete team and have the better quarterback. And I just think, Titans, are going to be dealing with learning curves because they have a new coach. And, they got a lot of new stuff. There's a new culture going on in Tennessee. So, yeah, I think the Jets match up well with the Titans really well. I think their defensive line can make life difficult on Will Levis. And I don't trust a young quarterback against that good of a defense. And especially, I don't think the Titans are going to be able to run the ball really good on them. So, yeah, because I think the Jets, kind of have a fast defense. And they have a great secondary, I feel like, they have Sauce, who can man up against Calvin Ridley or DeAndre Hopkins. They have corners to match up well with their receivers. So, yeah. I think the defense is probably going to win them this game too, but it could be their offense too. So, yeah. I think the Jets win this game. Now, week 3, this is a Thursday. This is a Thursday game. A Thursday night game. They got to play versus the Patriots on a short week. I'm going to give the Jets this win right here at home because, it's a short week. They're going to have more time to prepare, and especially they're at home and have the better quarterback. And, I think they're just a more talented team overall. I mean, Patriots are gonna be doing learning curves. You have a new quarterback in Drake May. They have a new coach. They got new receivers. A lot of new stuff, but the defense is still the same. And also, I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road, especially against that good of a defense of the Jets. So I felt the Jets will win this game because I kind of remember last couple of seasons, the Patriots had swept them. And I think the last time Jets beat them since 2015 or 2016, I don't really remember. But I think the Jets ended the season, they really beat them in New England. But I think the Jets will win this game at home. Next game, week 4 versus the Broncos. Obviously, this is an easy win for the Jets because the Jets are at home. They have the better quarterback. There's just a more complete team, and who I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Broncos. Right, it's gonna be Bo Nix or Zach Wilson. If it's a rookie, I wouldn't trust him on the road, especially against that good of a defense, and especially I view the Broncos. I think the Broncos are gonna be one of the worst teams in the league coming to the 2024 NFL season because I don't know who the quarterback's gonna be, and they don't have a great defense. Their offensive line is suspect. Maybe the Jets defense can give them trouble. And, you know, the Broncos don't I feel like the Jets can move the ball on them a little bit. So, yeah, I think the Jets win this game, but I say they're going to win by a lot. Then week 5, they got to play against the Vikings on Sunday. This is in London. Obviously, this is a game right here that can definitely go either way. But I could definitely see the Vikings, winning this game because this game, it's not in Minnesota. The game is because obviously the game is in London actually, and I feel like this could be the Sam Darnold revenge game, but I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Vikings. Right, it's gonna be Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy. But if it's JJ McCarthy, I wouldn't trust a rookie, especially against that good of a defense of the Jets. You know, the Jets, defense is probably going to overwhelm the Vikings offense because I think the Vikings offensive line isn't great, but they got good weapons though that can really give them problems. But you know, and especially Aaron Rodgers has played really well against his rivalry, and I feel like he owns the Vikings. So I'm got to get the Jets this win here because the Jets are just a better team overall. I feel like the Jets are just a more complete team and they're just more stable at the quarterback position as well. They got the better quarterback anyway, and I think their defense is going to win the game. Maybe Brian Flores, I mean, if he can find a way to confuse Aaron Rodgers, I feel like the Vikings can win this game. But I think the Jets, defense is going to win them this game because I feel like their pass rush can give the Vikings offense issues by which I don't think Minnesota will run the ball really effectively. But I think that their secondary can man up against Justin Jefferson and those guys. So, yeah. And especially, I don't think the Vikings, are going to have answers for Garrett Wilson. Maybe Garrett Wilson has a good game. I don't think Minnesota really has any elite corners that can really cover the Jets receivers. So yeah, I think the Jets win this game easily. Then week 6 they gotta play against the Buffalo Bills. This is on a Monday night. Now I believe last year it was in week 1. That's when Aaron Rodgers got hurt on maybe the third snap, I think. But I think the Jets are gonna win this game at home. I think the Jets win this game because they're at home, and I just think their defense is going to win them this game as too. Because I just have a feeling they match up well with the Bills. Really good on paper, they play the Bills really well for the last 2 seasons. I feel like their defense can find a way to slow down Allen and give the Bills offense issues, and especially I think their secondary can get sticky against an unwelcome receiving core of Buffalo because now the Bills don't have Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis. They got to figure out who their go-to guy wide receiver is. And especially the Jets got more weapons on offense, too. They can really attack them down the field. So, yeah, I feel like as long as Aaron Rodgers doesn't get hurt, I think the Jets can win this game. Because I believe last year, the Jets beat the Bills with Zach Wilson. So, yeah, I think the Jets can win this game at home. So now they're sitting at 5-1. Now they're looking pretty good. Then week 7 they got to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is on a Sunday night game. Now this is a game right here that can definitely go either way. Now Steelers do got a new quarterback in Russell Wilson, but I feel like it's going to be a really good quarterback matchup though. But I feel like the Jets can match up well with the Steelers really good. But I feel like if they can make life difficult on Russell Wilson, I feel like the Jets can win this game. Because I think both teams are similar to each other, but maybe. I think it's going to be close, but because I believe the Jets, last year, I think 2 years ago, they beat them by 4 points, I think. So, yeah, I think the Jets, that's a game I think the Jets can definitely win because they got some personnel to beat the Steelers, but I'm going to say they're going to drop one, and I'm going to give the Steelers the win to just like snap that winning streak because I think the Steelers at home they're very tough and Pittsburgh's kind of a tough place to play at, and I feel like the fans are gonna be going crazy, and then it could be some it could be bad weather there, like who knows, and I just think the Steelers are just like I don't think they're a better team. I think they're similar to each other. I think the Steelers defense is probably going to win this game because the Steelers have a really good offensive line and a great defensive line, and they can really make life difficult on Aaron Rodgers, and they stop the run really good. So I don't think the Jets are going to be able to run the ball really well, and especially I think their secondary is kind of okay. So maybe like Joey Porter can match up with Garrett Wilson. That'll be a good matchup to see. And then, so yeah, I think the Steelers defense is probably going to win them this game. But I think it's going to be a low scoring game as well. Especially they're at home and got the better coach and all that. So yeah, that's why I think the Steelers will win. Then week 8, I got them going back-to-back losses against the Steelers and Patriots. Now, the reason why I got them losing to the Patriots, I got them splitting with the Patriots because the reason why is that, the Patriots always play the Jets tough, and they got the Jets number and all that. So, yeah, I think the Patriots defense can do a good job, like make life difficult on Aaron Rodgers. I think their defense can win them this game. But I would not be surprised if the Jets have swept them. So, yeah, I think the Patriots win this game. Next game, week 9. We got the Houston Texans versus the New York Jets. This is on Thursday night. Obviously, this is on a short week. Now, obviously, I believe last year, this is going to be a fun game to watch. Now, I believe last year, this is with Zach Wilson at quarterback. That's when the Jets defense last year did a good job, like shutting down the Texans offense, making life difficult on CJ Stroud. I think they can do the same thing again. Because I know Texans are a really good team. They got a really good offensive line, a great defensive line. They got good corners that can really adjust offense issues, especially they have a really good receiving core as well. Like, I think, the receiving core did improve. Maybe they can give the Jets defense issues. I don't know. So, yeah. So basically, I think the Jets, defense can definitely give CJ Stroud tough issues again because obviously, the Jets, they have a they have good corners that can really man up against Stephon Diggs and company, especially Sauce is doing a good job, like covering Diggs one on one. So yeah, so basically, and I think the pass rush can do a good job stopping the run as well. Like given, like I don't think Texans gonna be able to run the ball really well. So yeah, I mean I think the Texans can win this game, sure, but I'm going with New York because the Jets are at home in this game. And I think their defense can win in this game. I think their defense can do a good job, slowing down the run, giving CJ Stroud issues. And I think, the defense, and I think Garrett Wilson could have a good game here because I don't think the Texans will have an answer for Garrett Wilson as well. So, yeah. So, so I say the Jets win a close one. It could be a shootout, though. So, yeah. Week 10, they got to play against Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, Arizona could be a tricky team to play. Now, I know Kyler Murray is a challenge, but they got good weapons like Marvin Harrison Jr., Greg Dortch, and Trey McBride, and they also had Zay Jones, and they also got Michael Wilson. I mean, they got some pretty good weapons on offense. The Cardinals have, so yeah. But I'm gonna go with the Jets here because the Jets are just a more talented team. They have the better defense. They got the better quarterback. They're just a more complete team overall. Like the Cardinals defense is just not as good, and the Jets, Garrett, I feel like the Jets offense can move the ball in them, especially with Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson. Like Cardinals don't have any corners that can cover him, and they don't have any answers that can cover him. And I feel like Mike Williams and Garrett Wilson can go off, and especially Brees Hall can go off because I don't think the Cardinals have much of a pass rush to get after Aaron Rodgers. And especially, I feel like the Jets defense is going to give Kyler issues because he's a challenge. I mean, he runs around, but I feel like he's going to struggle in this game. But so yeah, I think the Jets win this game. Okay, so they're sitting at 7-3, looking good. Now, week 11, this is Sunday night game. They have to play against the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, the Colts are kind of a physical team. They're a dome team, which you have to deal with, along with the Texans, like I said. They're a dome team. They got good weapons. They got a good offensive line. They got a great defensive line, but not a great secondary. Now, I'm not sure of Anthony Richardson's health, so I don't know how good he's going to be because he only played 5 games last season. So, yeah. So, obviously, I got to roll with the Jets here because I think the Jets are just the more complete team and have the better quarterback. They're at home in this game. And I just think I think the Jets have a better defense, in my opinion. I think the Jets pass rush can be the difference maker. Because I don't think the Colts will be able to run the ball effectively. Because I think the Jets defense can do a good job slowing down Jonathan Taylor. I don't think they're going to shut him down. I think they'll just slow him down a little bit. And I think they can slow down Anthony Richardson as well and try to make life difficult on him. And especially, they have, and especially, I think their secondary can do a good job, like covering the Colts receivers like Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, A.D. Mitchell, Alec Pierce, and all those guys they have. I felt the Jets are just going to have a tough time, especially the Colts defensive line is pretty strong, but their secondary is a little weak. So I think Garrett Wilson can have another huge game. So yeah, I think the Jets, win this game at home. Then you get the bye week. After the bye week, you get extra time to prepare and watch film. If players get injured, they can just rest because it's a bye week. Then they got to play at home against Seattle Seahawks at home. So yeah. So basically, though, this game right here against Seahawks, this can go either way, though. Now, this is West Coast to East Coast. So basically, it's kind of a tough travel. So I feel like the Seahawks are a physical team. They have good weapons on offense. Geno Smith is a really strong quarterback. They got a good offensive line, a great defense, a great secondary that can really give the Jets offense and defense issues. So, yeah. So, basically, this is game is going to be very tricky, but I'm going to roll the Jets here because I feel like Aaron Rodgers pretty much owned this rivalry against the Seahawks. So, yeah, I feel like the Jets kind of have a better defense. I feel like their defense. So I think their defense can win this game, especially the Jets got the better quarterback. They're at home. I think they're a more talented team, and I think their defense is going to find a way to make life difficult on Geno Smith. I feel like they can stop their running game. They can, and I feel like the secondary can match up well against the Seahawks receivers. So yeah, like I don't know, Seattle has much of a pass rush to slow down. Brees Hall. So I feel like Brees Hall can have a huge game, and I feel like the O line, the new improved O line, can like control their pass rush as well. So yeah, so I think the Jets win this game. Now week 14, they got to play against the Dolphins. So it's back to back against the Dolphins and the Dolphins. Like they got to play week 14 and week 18. I actually got them splitting with the Dolphins. Now, I believe like last season, I believe they swept them, which I don't see it happening this year. So I'm going to say they just beat the Dolphins. I'm gonna say they just lose to the Dolphins the first time because the game's in Miami, and Miami really plays well at home, especially against like good, like average teams and all that. So yeah, and the weather could be warm there and all that. So yeah, I think the Dolphins win that game. Now week 15, they got to play against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, this is a game that can definitely go either way. Obviously, some people might pick the Jets to win, but Jacksonville is kind of a very sneaky team. Like they got good weapons on offense. They got a great so yeah, I think Jacksonville has a great defense that is underrated. And I think the Jets, defense can definitely give them issues as well. Which I think they can definitely give their offense, their Jags offense issues. Because we've seen it in the past though. But you know what though? If the game's in New York, I could go with the Jets. But since the game's in Jacksonville, I'm gonna roll with Jacksonville because I kind of feel like Jacksonville is a tricky place to play at, and I just kind of really feel like Jacksonville is gonna. I feel like the Jags, did improve the defensive line to make life difficult on Aaron Rodgers and to like stop the run and get pressure on him. Especially Jacksonville has a great secondary that can cover Garrett Wilson and all that. And especially their offensive line is okay. Maybe they can control the Jets pass rush. So yeah, I think the Jags, win this game at home, but I think it won't be easy, but I feel like it's gonna be close. So yeah. Next game, LA Rams versus New York Jets. Obviously, this is going to be a fun game to watch. Now, I believe the Jets beat them in the last two matchups. So, yeah, I mean, the Rams are kind of a physical team. They got good weapons on offense. They have a great offensive line, but the defense is kind of a little bit shaky. Now, they got some younger guys who can play, but their secondary is pretty strong, which they did improve that. But like I said, is west to coast to east coast is kind of a tough travel. But I feel like it's going to be a fun game to watch. I mean, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers versus Matthew Stafford once again. Now, if this game was in LA, I can definitely go towards the Rams, but given that the game's in New York, I'm going with the Jets here to win this game because the Jets are at home. I think they have the better defense. Now, the Rams have a better coach, in my opinion, but the Jets kind of have a better defense, and I feel like they're just a more talented team overall. And obviously, when the Rams, I've been saying this many times. Every time when the Rams play against teams that have a great defensive line, they struggle against. And I just think the Rams offense is going to have a tough time moving the ball against this Jets defense because they can get after Matthew Stafford, they can rush him, and they can slow down the running game, and especially their secondary matches up well with the Rams receivers. Like I feel like Sauce can match up with either Puka or Cup and all that. So yeah, that'll be a tough matchup for the Rams though. It's a bad matchup though for them, and I feel like their O line can do a good job running the ball. Especially the Rams don't got no Aaron Donald, so I think the Jets can like run the ball on them, and I feel like Aaron Rodgers can have an easy time against his Rams defense as well. So yeah, I feel like Brees Hall can definitely run all over that Rams defense, even though the Rams are very good at stopping the run. And on top of that, Aaron Rodgers pretty much owns the Rams because he's played really well against the Rams throughout his career. So yeah, that's pretty much why. Those are all the reasons why I think the Jets are going to beat the Rams. Week 17, they play against Buffalo Bills. Obviously, I don't see them beating the Bills again, so they'll split with them like they always do. The Josh Allen does play really well at home against this Jets team, especially the Bills pretty much have owned the Jets for the last couple of seasons. So yeah, especially they're at home and have the better quarterback, the better coach. So yeah, the Bills should win this game. Then week 18, they got to play against the Dolphins. Now this could definitely be for the playoffs though, where this can definitely be the lock in for the wild card. So if the Jets, if they lose some of their game, now I feel like this could be the wild card. The Dolphins, they could be a team that they can definitely make the playoffs, or they could barely miss it. But I think the Dolphins have regressed this year, so I'm gonna give the Jets the home win here because the Jets are at home. I just think they're just a more talented team and have the better quarterback. And I just think the Jets defense is going to make life difficult on Tua. And I feel like, they match up well with the Dolphins pretty good. Like they have the pass rush to get after Tua. And they have the secondary to cover Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and OBJ. So, yeah, I mean, the Jets defense played really well against Tua, like, over the past season. So, yeah, I think it was like 2 seasons ago where the Jets like, really destroyed the Dolphins. So, yeah, I think the Jets can do that in this game. So, right now, I have the Jets going 11-6, which that's pretty good enough to make the playoffs, though. But I don't expect them to do any better than like 12-5 or anything like that. So I feel like 11-6 is good enough for the Jets to make the playoffs. So yeah, so I got them going undefeated at home, 3-6 away, which is not bad at all. Because when you look at the Jets schedule, it's kind of tough and it's kind of easy because they have to play like some teams who made the playoffs. Like they have to play the Niners, they have to play the Bills twice, they got to play the Steelers, they got to play the Texans, the Seahawks, the Dolphins twice. They even got to play the Jaguars. I mean, this could definitely be a hard schedule for the Jets. Like I can definitely see them like losing games like to the Titans, like the Vikings, or I can definitely see them at least losing to the Rams or something like that. But I can definitely see them beating teams like Jacksonville or like the Steelers. or something like that. Like I could definitely see them winning some of these games. So yeah, I think 11-6 is good enough for the Jets to make the playoffs. So yeah, I think the Jets, no, I feel like they're just the most talented team in the division. I can definitely see them making the playoffs though, as well. So yeah, so 11-6 is good enough for the Jets to be in the playoffs. So yeah, because I think their defense is pretty talented. The offensive line did improve, and I believe they did improve their receiving core, adding Mike Williams, and especially trade for Hassan Reddick was a great pickup. Adding Tyron Smith was a good pickup, and especially the receiving core did improve because Alan Lazard was a bust last year, and also I think if long as Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, I think he can take the Jets. I feel like the Jets can be a top team in the NFC, the AFC, and he could be a top quarterback in the NFL. But the coaching is kind of fine, but I don't know if it's any good. So yeah. So 11-6, what I have for Jets. Let me know in the comments section below. Below, what you think the Jets record will be. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Just let me know in the comments section below what you guys think. Well, this is Emmanuel Jones from Big Fan. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later in the next video. Peace.